Hello and welcome to IGN UK podcast number 273. My name's Gav Murphy and I'm joined by...
Daniel.
Hello.
Krupa.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Excellent.
Good.
That's what I like
Smooth
to hear.
intro.
Brilliant. And also...
Luke Carmali.
Is this the first time we've ever done this with this dynamic? I think it is.
I think it is the first three.
How many permutations are there of the IGN UK podcast team now?
Loads.
Let's do that. Let's do some quick maths. I'll work this out.
There's quite a lot of them.
Are we seriously going to do this?
I'll do it
It'll take
within
ages.
the hour.
Okay,
Within
right.
the hour. Don't put too much pressure on.
Doesn't it
let's
depend
go.
if we're a three-hander or a four-hander?
We're always
We're always
now.
three-handed.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Well, that shows how long it's been.
Why, you were
What, you've been on recently?
Quite
And
recently.
also, just because you're not on it doesn't mean you can't listen to it.
Yeah, it's true. I
So-
always listen to it, obviously.
We're
Well,
all
then you would know.
three-handers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, God.
Bloodborne. It's out.
It is.
At last.
It is. What do you mean at last?
Well, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, they only announced it last June.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you three?
And then, boom,
quite short.
it's already out, yeah.
By most standards, I suppose, guess, yeah. Well done, them.
It's out and it works, which if something was announced at E3 and it comes out, you'd expect it to be not working.
Yeah, so it works.
Yeah.
It's also rather good.
Yeah.
So should we go around the table and talk about our history, if any, with previous From Software games? Because I can't want to refer to this as a Souls game. It's not really, but it is obviously related. Experience and also our first experience with Bloodborne.
Yeah. Well, I came to Dark Souls like really, really late because it was one of those games where I kept meaning to play, but everyone kept going on about how hard it was. And then I sort of started playing it kind of in secret and got really, really into it. It is absolutely solid. And for someone who's rubbish at games, it can be quite frustrating, but not in a, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not in a unrewarding way. Like, once you finally click with it and you get past a boss that you've been on for ages and you absolutely demolish him, it's so satisfying. And Bloodborne for me is exactly like that. I never finished Dark Souls, but I will definitely finish Bloodborne.
You definitely will. You
Yeah.
said
That
it
is a
here on the
bold
podcast.
claim.
You've said it here on the podcast. Gav will finish Bloodborne.
And I spent about 3 hours in the first area of Bloodborne yesterday, so...
Yeah. What about you? Luke?
So I started with Demon Souls, and I bought that on a whim, not realizing what I was letting myself in for. I tried it for like about 2 hours or something. Couldn't do anything. Found it too difficult. Was like, no, done. And then once it started kind of garnering a lot of acclaim, I was like, oh, you know what? I should give this a go. So I went back to
When
it.
everyone started saying it was good.
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, I've clearly got poor taste.
I played it before you all thought it was good.
Exactly.
so-
I was the original guy. So as to what Tilly did for banter, I did for Demon Souls. And
We'll
so
get onto that in a minute.
yeah. So basically, I tried again. Didn't get very far. Beat the first boss.
Phalanx.
With the guy with the shield, and then I did the. I think there was a giant spider thing that kept killing me at some stage, and that was when I was just like, nope, there's other stuff I've got to play. So that was it, and I then skipped both Dark Souls games because I was like, you know what, this probably isn't for me. I don't have the temperament. And then I came to Bloodborne again.
So what's changed?
What's changed is that I thought I was older, wiser, and better than I was before.
And you none of those things.
No,
Absolutely
as
no.
was really proven to me last night when I played.
And also the conversation that we had this morning, because we were talking about it. Like, I think I've maybe played about like 4 or 5 hours of it, something like that.
Yeah.
But it seems like I've got a bit further than you.
I feel like
It's probably putting it quite moderate.
I feel like you're not even moving forward.
So just to give everyone an idea of what happened, I came in after my first 20 minutes, really excited because I'd found the first like waypoint. Are we calling them waypoints?
Lamps.
Lamps. Yeah. I
So
found
they're similar to the bonfires, but
Yeah.
not quite. They're less frequent and also have different properties. You can't rest at them. But
So I came in after my first 20 minutes. I'd only played for 20 minutes. And I was like, found the first lamp. Oh, I am bowling through. I've got this. And then last night, I played it for, I think, 3 hours straight. And by the end of those 3 hours, I hadn't really moved forward. I'd seen a lot more of the world. I'd lost about 10,000 blood echoes, which are what souls are in this game. And I haven't actually opened up any new paths or gotten anywhere. So really, I had 2 glasses of wine and just watched Jim Jeffries' stand-up show because I thought, why not?
Because that's easy.
Well, no, like
I think
that-
that's what I
can't
just
lose
say in the
that.
strategy guide.
That's my level.
If stuck, pour yourself a nice Pinot Grigio.
No, it was a red.
Ooh.
Pinotage.
Well.
That's
about you?
why you listen to the IGN UK podcast for wine recommendations.
There you
There'll
go.
be more at the end of the show. How
long have you put into Bloodborne so
I've
far?
played about 15, 16 hours.
Okay.
Again, I came to Dark Souls quite late. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I used to fucking hate people who bang on about Dark Souls, like evangelists. Like, oh, you don't play Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You like video games, and you don't play Dark Souls, so
That's why I didn't
so
play
excuse
it.
me, I'm just going to go off and laugh
Yeah.
at you. And it's like, have you heard the good news? It's like, oh, it's bore off. It's
Yeah.
And I played Dark Souls, got to the Taurus Demon, just died like 5 times. Thought, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then I came back a year later, and Saturday night free, I went, fuck it, I'm going to absolutely do this.
Yeah.
And I eventually beat him. And it kind of just opened up, and I got better gear, I got used to parrying, and something clicked. It didn't become easy, but I definitely understood how to manipulate situations to my advantage.
Yeah.
So going into Bloodborne,
It's so good. Like it's
I like
really good.
like the combat is different. You can read more about the specifics on site. It's faster. It encourages you. More enemies surround you. It's
Yeah.
about crowd management, like. Dividing the crowd, picking people off, but also being aggressive, because you're rewarded for being aggressive, because you can get your energy back, your health back if you get hit.
I haven't mastered that
There's a
properly.
short
I've
window.
kind of got it accidentally.
But you just got to go for it. But then also
Yeah.
you've got to like really size it up, because if you're low to close to dying, it's not worth risking it,
No.
because you just get one-shotted at that
That's
point.
again something I need to
So
realise.
but I actually found, I don't know, I didn't find it too difficult. Like, but what I would say to anyone playing for the first time is really explore the environment, check all down alleyways, speak to many people if you can find
Smash everything
NPCs.
up.
Find NPCs. You're not going to find anything in barrels, but you
No.
might find different routes and
Yeah.
stuff. And don't want to say any more specifics about the world, because I think partly is, there's a reason there's no map. There's a reason there's not a tutorial beyond press L1 to attack or transform your weapon.
Yeah.
It's because the satisfaction comes from piecing together the world, the story.
And also like different tactics now as well. I think it really rewards you for coming up with your own ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning, it's not a spoiler, but right at the beginning you get to a section where everyone is just, there's a lot of enemies, maybe like 15 enemies, something like that.
Yeah, they're
in like-
congregating in the town.
around one.
I love how you say that's right at the beginning. The amount of times I did that about 25 times
Well, no,
last
because
night.
you go through it quite a lot. So like you're saying at the beginning, it's a bit different.
But this is the thing, like when I first did that bit, I was like, taking it slow, really easy. And then as I got better,
you
by
said
the end,
you just run straight into the wall.
oh, but now I can, because now I know all their patrols, I know how to pull them, I know. And so that section, I've nailed it. And I actually filmed a video clip, and I was going to show you on my PlayStation 4. But it's like, it's definitely a learning process. And I do feel more equipped for the trials ahead. Thanks
Good,
to
because
this.
it's the rest of the bloody game.
Yeah.
Like, I think
you have to like really like draw them out, like because they're
Yeah.
all around there.
So-
And it really reminded me of the beginning of Resident Evil 4. When you're Leon and you happen upon that, like all these
town,
villagers
yeah.
going
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
It
it's very
really reminded me of
similar.
that.
Yeah, it's very.
And there's even a bit where there's even a bit where the clock chimes exactly like in Resi 4. That's obviously on purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I'm really intrigued by the story, like I was with Dark Souls, where I still months later we're finding out things
Yeah.
where it's like I find one shield and the description would totally change my perspective on an
Yeah.
aspect of the game. And I do feel, not confirmed because there's a long way to go, but I feel
Yeah.
like there's lots of things happening in this game that I'm going to connect at a later point. Like
Yeah.
have an epiphany. Like again, not going to go into too many spoilers because I wouldn't want to like take the enjoyment away from anyone,
Yeah.
but just to tease it for a lot of people who might not be like into it, or there's a lot more to it than just Yarnum,
Yeah.
the place that you've seen in all the footage. There's a reason From are really secretive because there's loads of cool stuff in their games.
Yeah.
There's one point where later on, not that far in, like 10 hours in, but still in kind of familiar sections like Yarnum, there's a guy with a bag and he killed me and I got kidnapped and I woke up in a completely different place.
That's cool.
And I had to find my way back.
Oh.
And it was terrifying
That is
because
awesome.
it was almost like an OP area. Like
Yeah.
I was basically it was death gated. Everything there was like insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Like insanely powerful. Like I'd hit it once and it would take off like a millimeter of damage. I was like, what if I never get back?
Forever.
What if I never
What
get
if this is the game
What
now?
if I'm stuck here
Yeah.
forever?
Oh, Jesus. let's talk about tips then. So going in, because
Please help me.
Okay.
I think that the gun is the one thing that threw me.
I still
really
haven't
to
mastered
start.
it at all.
I think I haven't mastered it, obviously, because I only
Yeah.
played it for like 5 hours. But the thing that I've been using the gun for is when an enemy sort of lunges at you, if you can time it just right with the gun, you'll stun them and knock them back, and then you can go in and absolutely destroy them.
Yeah, so what I think
So
it's
hard.
called it's weird. I think it's slightly bigger window of opportunity than
Yeah.
a parry. A parry was really difficult, and it used to vary
Barely did it,
like
yeah.
really difficult. Like, but by the end, you could like if you got into it, it was really useful.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit more forgiving than that. So before an enemy strikes you, you time a shot from your firearm.
Yeah.
They'll drop to their knees, and then if you follow up with an R1 attack, you'll do something called a visceral attack. And if you
right,
look
yeah.
closely, you don't actually use your weapon. You're shoving your hand into their chest and pulling something out. It's like, yeah, and you can do that. And also backstabbing is gone. But if you go around the back of an enemy and fully charge your R2 attack, you can initiate a similar animation where you can do like a devastating visceral attack.
Ooh, okay.
But so tips, what I would say definitely is in terms of leveling, put all your points into vitality and endurance or stamina, whatever it's called in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Because skill, strength, and stuff will become more important towards the end game when you'll find equipment that needs those attributes and scale
okay,
accordingly. Right now, if you need health, obviously, otherwise you'll get one-shotted by stuff and it'll just be annoying. And you need endurance because you've always got a chance if you can swing your weapon.
Yeah.
So definitely pile all the points into those two stats.
Yeah, I think like drawing stuff out, using the pebbles to go into like a big thing, picking up one person or two people.
Oh, see, I've been using that's what I've been using my
bullet.
bullets for. I've been using them to kind of bring people out.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, no, it works though.
Yeah, but then you waste your bullets
Bullets.
that you can't have in attack.
Yeah, but at the moment, I'm still in that earlier area where like there's gun people who drop bullets every 5 seconds, so I have no worries.
Ooh, I wish for those days. I wish for those days when they used
Don't
to
know you're
drop
born.
when they used to drop blood vials all the time.
You
When
know
I've
what?
got- when I've got
I do know I'm born because it happens every 5 seconds because I'm dying all the time.
when you're far from home, you've
Yeah.
got a lamp in sight, and you've got one vial.
Yeah.
That's and they're going, it's tough, mate.
Well, I don't know how far I'm going to get, to be honest.
He's finishing it. He said it.
Like,
I've got to because there's something about the world that
wanna
instantly
be able to
hooks
I
Talk to
like.
me,
Don't get me wrong. I like the aesthetic. The reason I also got back into Bloodborne rather than the others, the aesthetic's much more appealing to me. I like the whole Gothic Victorian aspect of it. There's more color, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's still not a lot of color, but there's more color. There's a wider range, a wider palette.
That's the
than
thing,
there
though,
was
with
for
Dark Souls. though. Well, same with Bloodborne, I think, because right now, I think a lot of people are saying, no, Yharnam looks a bit
Yeah.
oppressive and dreary. It's true. Like, it's
like that.
same as the early stages of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
If you never get to the later stages of Dark Souls, you never get to see, like, the weird and wacky and wonderful
Yeah.
shit that's in it. Like, there's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
stuff in
Yeah.
Dark Souls. It's just that stuff is the reward for the people who persevere.
The monster
Yeah.
design already, or like the enemy design is great. Like
you
it just the
guys,
little
there's,
tweaks.
a reason for everything to be
Yeah.
the way it is, which
Yeah.
is amazing, and that's it's a mixture of like oblique storytelling, environmental storytelling.
Yeah.
It just puts a lot on you. Say, well, if you want to know what's going on,
Yeah.
you have to be like the detective in this world. You
That's
have
the
to be
thing,
like almost like a kind of archaeologist,
Yeah.
piecing together what the hell happened here.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out what the base setting is now at the moment.
Yeah.
I was looking at looking around for what people have, I'm trying not to read too much about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read reviews or anything like that. But I was looking around and there were some other like tips around from like rival websites, and one of them just really made me laugh. It was remember to charge your controller. Really? That's a tip, is it? That's up there with buy the fucking game. Like,
But I,
tips of
there
playing
is,
Bloodborne.
but I think
Buy
there is,
Bloodborne.
there is a reason for that though, because the game doesn't pause if your controller battery dies.
yeah. So.
Yeah, I know. but don't think you can pause it.
But also like pay your electricity bills as well.
Yeah, don't get cut off in the middle.
That's bollocks.
I think I am enjoying it. It's different to any other game that I've played in a very long while, which is very
Yeah.
nice. But I'm not that good at it, and I don't know if I have the threshold to bear with it. I'm going to try.
I believe in you. You could do it.
See, I don't believe in
One
me.
amazing achievement if you finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not
Imagine
carried
how
away.
good you'd feel like finishing.
Also, there's
Bloodborne.
nothing else out for PS4, so if you've got a PS4, get on it, mate.
It's true. Well, I do want to do Type
I-
0 as well.
I've got to a boss now that's just doing my nut in.
Yeah,
It's doing my nut in. Like,
I hate when people watch you try and play something, but I was sort of like sneaking.
I was doing my nut in, like,
just like.
and also the best time I ever did it was the first time I did it.
Oh, so
I got it down to like a third of the health.
Yeah.
And it's this huge boss.
Yeah.
And it's just if you use all your resources, I have to go away and like grind again a little bit to get my blood vials up.
Yeah.
But I want
annoying, isn't
to
it?
summon someone now.
Have you been having Bloodborne dreams? Because I did last night. First night I played it, and I've been
bit of
dreaming.
crack.
I dreamed about it.
No.
I haven't had that for ages. Like I used to have like the Tetris dream that everyone talks about when you used to like dream about Tetris. I was dreaming about Bloodborne last night, like dreaming about this bit that I couldn't do, and I did it. It was amazing.
So
My-
sorry.
just one tip for me would be, don't do what I do. I got very frustrated. Just don't be afraid to put the controller down and just take a minute, because I got like I was saying, I was just running into that area towards the end. I'm like, oh, I can do this bit.
Yeah.
And you're just dying willy-nilly, or just using up blood vials stupidly. And I'm still at that early stage where they're like giving them out like candy, so it's fine. But you know, it's still just don't get into that habit. Always be patient. Don't take risks.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also like Einstein said, the definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different
Exactly,
result.
yeah.
So if you're gonna go in, stop. If he died, don't do the same thing again. Because
Exactly,
I think
yeah.
like you go, it'll be all right this time. It won't.
Yes,
like you have to change your tactics, and it's more key with boss fights.
Yeah.
because you go boss fight, you just go again. You learn each move that the boss is going to do on you,
There
and
is-
find out a way to dodge it or counteract it.
There is that thing though, like it's like
and
playing
then
poker.
you just forget,
like,
and you go, just
yeah, you just go on tilt. That's
Yeah.
like it's a really famous thing in poker where you know you're losing, so you start you keep
Yeah.
doing the same thing again and again and again. I have that so much with From Gates, and like last night,
That's what I did.
I got killed like 4 times in a row the exact same way, and I was screaming at myself, going, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to fucking do that? Do it differently."
I ate that. There
hard.
was one enemy that was really tough in a corner, and I was like, oh, I bet there'll be good stuff if I go down there and I kill him. And so I died and all of this. I killed him.
Nothing.
that's a joke.
Absolutely
That is
nothing there.
that's brilliant. That's an absolute joke, because he's an enemy from a bit further into the game, and I think
Right.
it's there as an absolute joke. Just to go, you thought that was hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you anything for that, mate.
Like,
and it's brilliant. Like I definitely know that's definitely a sense of humour.
That
It
guy as
stressed
well.
the hell out of me.
He's
also-
horrible when he bites on your head.
Yeah. Well, Bloodborne.
I also have to say though, part of the enjoyment is, and why I will keep playing is because you guys are playing it, and because you know, like the chats about it.
I think it's quite
fun.
amazing to be a
Yeah.
part of a From game while it's happening.
Definitely, yeah.
And be a part of that adventure together in the darkness.
My scare is that I'm just going to be left behind.
Yeah, well, if you're not going to keep up, we're going to ditch you.
I'll just
okay,
summon you all.
I'm going to take
and,
all your
like-
bullets. Oh no, he's used them all. He's got shitloads of pebbles. Great.
It's funny you should say that. I do have 20. So
All right then. So some of the cool things that have happened this week. So yesterday, the first image of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
was
so this
released, Cooper.
was Entertainment Weekly's exclusive. They had
Yeah.
a little black and white snap of Jesse Eisenberg close up looking to camera with, unsurprisingly, a shaved head.
Yeah.
So no bald cap has
No.
been used. He's gone full method, shaving his head.
Yeah.
And it looks like, if you look at his clothing, it looks like he might be in prison.
Yeah.
It looks a
So,
little
yeah, it's
bit
black and
like...
white, yeah.
It's hard to tell. Or he could just be in casual.
No,
So-
I think you're right. It looks exactly like an FBI sort
It does
of thing.
look like
that's
a
on their
mugshot,
files,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, so not much more to say, but it's the first time we've seen the villain apart outside of pap snaps.
Yeah.
Of him like on set with a hoodie on.
or he has like one of those a scarf tied around his head, so he looks like.
Well, Hetty Wainthropp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love Hetty Wainthropp. It's
great.
It was filmed in Darwin, which is right next to Blackburn where I grew up. So
Nice. Well, to be honest though, if it is prison garb, that kind of goes against some of the stuff that we've been saying, because I think the way that it's for me that we talked about it yesterday, like see him in Social Network, I thought that's the kind of way they were going to go with Luthor, and he's going to be this
I
sort of
think
like, you know, mega sort
they
of billionaire.
might still. They might
I know
still.
they could still be doing
they
that,
might still,
but
like, because what we said was like, you know, if Lex Luthor was a real person in the 21st century, he would have created Facebook.
yeah, definitely.
Because it would allow him to have access to everyone's personal,
Yeah.
intimate information,
Yeah.
and he would have something on everyone,
Yeah.
and he can manipulate the world.
Exactly.
He could send subliminal messaging. It's such a great Lex Luthor kind of creation.
Yeah.
But the same thing, you know, we live in a time of white collar crime.
Yeah.
He might, you know,
I guess
LexCorp
so, yeah.
exists is he like in a very kind of like, oh yes, this is a satire on white collar crime?
Yeah.
Maybe he is in prison in the early stages. He gets out on a technicality or something.
Yeah. I hope it's not like that.
Or he's pulling all the strings from inside
Yeah,
prison.
does someone
Imagine
break
that.
him out?
Imagine
Yeah.
that he's inside prison
all the time.
all the time,
And then they break him out.
almost like a Hannibal Lecter character.
Yeah. It looks good though. I think like since when they announced Jesse Eisenberg, I was one of the a few people online that I was like, "It's really great casting."
I think he's like he definitely gives off that kind of like reticent, socially awkward genius, which is obviously just a good way of playing Luthor. I think we've had Gene Hackman's Luthor, we've had
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, and we've had the big loud, shouty, like megalomaniac Lex Luthor. I think it's time for something a little bit different.
I think that's right. Good. Also, the X-Files TV show, that's been confirmed. Really exciting news. So I think 6 episodes have been confirmed. They're going to do like a little sort of mini run of it.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. I love X-Files.
Yeah,
I can't get
it's
enough
interesting
of it.
for like network TV. They don't usually do that sort of thing. But
I know.
I think that's way better.
I wonder what they're going to do with it though, because obviously nothing is known about it at the moment. But I'd love it to be like a little sort of mini series that's not talking about like the wider thing, almost like a sort of murder.
I never saw the second
mystery.
film.
Didn't you?
No.
It's not very good.
Can it easily continue on from that?
I hope not. No, I hope they're
What?
not going to do that.
Right, okay.
I hope they're going to sort of take it out of everything that we know of the wider things, and maybe they'll have little nods to it, but it's going to be its own self-contained thing. Because why not? Like that's a really brave thing to do. I think.
Yeah.
I'd much rather.
Gillian
see
Anderson
that.
and everything now.
She is really good as well.
Yeah.
And I guess they've probably seen her in The Fall and gone, oh, she's really good in that. How many episodes of The Fall? It's not many.
Quite
All right,
sexy
we'll do
as
that. Yeah.
So
Luke.
Hello. Star Wars Battlefront is debuting next month. At long last, we're going to see gameplay footage.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited for this.
So that's going to be April the 16th to the 19th at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, Los Angeles, which is quite exciting.
I don't think it's in Los Angeles, is it?
It's in
It's just
Anaheim,
California.
California.
Anaheim.
Sorry.
California.
it's just south of Los Angeles. I know
close.
it's in Disneyland.
But yeah, no, I think it
So
looks...
what would you want from the debut? What would be satisfying enough? What would you want to see? Would you want a trailer, gameplay,
I would
extended like?
I'd like to see gameplay, and I think that I don't really want to see any more Hoth. I think we've kind of, in lots of the promo art, they've been pushing Hoth, so it seems that we will get that, but I don't...
Not seeing it in game though.
No, I
is a different
suppose.
thing.
I don't know, it's tricky, because Hoth was obviously one of the ones that featured in the original games. I suppose there's an argument that says if you show how you've developed it and moved it forward, that could be quite cool, but by the same token, there are so many other opportunities out there.
I do see what you mean. I feel like I've seen Hoth in video games quite a lot.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe
it's
see something
and
else.
it was in the earlier Battlefronts. So you know,
Where would you like to see?
I don't know.
have they mentioned that they're going to? I've completely forgotten what eras it's spanning. But is it doing the new ones as well?
I suppose they could like.
Because they
whatever
could
they
really
want.
do
They
it
could do
all.
whatever
I
they
mean,
want,
if they
yeah.
do the new ones as well, I don't know. Because J.J. Abrams is there at the celebration, they could potentially use it as a segue into this is a new location we will be exploring in the movies.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah, that would be good. I don't think we're going to see things from a movie in.
no, but
Battlefront before we
but
see
for
it in the
example,
movie,
like
though.
just a setting, because obviously that'd be quite cool. But
Yeah, I'm up for it though. I'm still really sad about Star Wars 1313 because I thought that just looked amazing.
well, you heard that there's mutterings that has been repurposed
really?
now. Yeah, there's
They just robbed all the good stuff.
all,
from it.
well, basically all the assets have been taken and reworked into a different storyline that fits in with the Boba Fett standalone.
Right.
And there's rumours that is now. We haven't seen the last of it.
Good.
That's rumours upon rumours.
That's rumours upon
Yeah, 'cause
rumours.
we don't even know a Boba Fett thing's happening.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like those assets were so far along and they were so good. I think it would just be.
But if that's what we saw way back when, it was a vertical slice, which is way before production.
Yeah.
So it's like it's assets that are far along for
that
a
section.
well, not even a section that's in a game, because a vertical slice is produced independent of the game.
Yeah.
It's a proof of concept. So it's like, while that was polished, that piece of software is meant to be polished because that's the thing that gets the game greenlit.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it's like, it's unrepresentative. Like, that's before other stuff even happens.
I think, yeah, I mean, because the reaction was so good, it's one of those things that you'd hope that they would follow up. Because universally, I think people are like, this looks really cool, this looks like a nice new take. So, you know,
Yeah.
but I agree.
Star Wars
we're
Uncharted.
not privy to the inside stuff. Like, inside, they might have had
I am.
nothing.
Yeah.
They might have had nothing. They might have just gone, oh, this is Cool.
They run everything past me, actually.
Yeah, do they? And what do you go?
Give me a
Yeah,
text.
do it.
Give me a cheeky little WhatsApp. All right, Gav, how you doing? Do you like this? Should we carry on with it? Yeah, you should. Looks really good, actually.
No, guys, pull the money. You go, yeah, guys, it looks really good, and then you get on the other phone and go, nah, pull it.
What has Keith been up to? What a mess. Get rid of it. Playing them. That's me. Eisenberging it up. Also, Jeremy Clarkson's been sacked.
Yeah, he's gone.
From Top Gear, and BBC have sacked him finally. So he hit some producer whilst they were out having a meal, and it's taken
basically
this long.
They got back to the hotel after a long day of filming.
Yeah.
And he wanted hot food, and the guy was like, "There's no hot food," and he basically verbally abused the guy. Apparently,
Racial slurs, apparently. Allegedly.
For 20 minutes, he verbally abused him
Get rid of
before
him, he's
hitting
a
him,
dick.
and then continuing
20 minutes.
Yeah, and then
Was he drunk?
No, apparently I don't think so. I think he was. They do long shooting days, but I didn't realise this producer has been.
So did me and Rich the other day.
Yeah, okay.
When we got back and they were giving us like pizza. Rich is not kicking off, is he?
Well, I didn't realise they'd worked together for like 10 years. You know, so these are not two. He's not like, oh, look at this incompetent new guy. He's not Christian Bale being like, oh, da 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 da. It's very much, you know.
What did Christian Bale do?
You know, he was like, oh, look at you, da 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 da. Is that not the thing? This is a guy he knows, and they've gotten on well, and his temper's frayed. But it's sad, but it's the complete right decision.
Why is he sad? Clarkson's a dick.
I think the program as it is can't exist anymore, but it's his own fault.
Good.
And everyone being like, oh, it's the producer's fault. Oh, it's everyone else's fault. No, it's
not the
Clarkson's
producer's fault. He's hit.
It's Clarkson's fault.
Yeah.
Clarkson acted like a bellend.
Yeah.
Repeatedly and got away with it multiple times. And then finally the BBC were in a position where they were like, legally, we cannot do anything other than fire.
I think the way the BBC
I
got
can't believe
rid
it
of him
took
as
so
well.
long.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Also,
it.
have you read the statement? The statement is so grovelling. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we haven't arrived at this easy. I would have been like, if I was the BBC, I'd be like,
Easy.
we're just going to get rid of him. Like, we're not going to work with him anymore. You might as well just burn all your bridges with him.
He assaulted
Yeah.
another member of our staff. Of course.
gotta go.
I was going to say that they haven't done that because Alan Yentob, who's the creative director of the BBC, appeared on Newsnight last night, asked, you know, could Clarkson ever
Was he
come
wearing
back?
sandals?
Could he ever come back? And he was like, yes, you know, I think one day. I wouldn't rule anything out, but you know, that's
Absolute
not
crap.
a discussion for right now.
Yeah.
No, no.
So the only thing is, like, Top Gear makes the BBC a lot of money.
Well, this is why. This
It's
is
gonna-
such a
they're
big
gonna
story.
get
It's
snapped up,
literally, it literally is one of the biggest TV shows in the world.
I know.
Well, you were chatting as well about
the world we live in.
but they're going to get they are
So was CSI Miami. So
but they're going to get snapped
I like
up by
that, though,
someone, and they're going to get snapped up by someone. But you were saying about James May's reaction outside his house. Just
yeah,
seems-
this guy like doorstepped him, and they were talking to him about the future of the show, and he said, obviously, I can't really speak to that because I've only just found out myself, and obviously he's in contract negotiations as well, so he can't really say anything. But he just said Top Gear works because it is the three of them. They work together in quite a complex way that people might not understand. And he said, who could replace him? Because there's rumours of Chris Evans and other people.
Yeah.
Not like Chris Evans, the other one. And he said, as much as he's a dick, I quite like working with Jeremy.
Yeah.
So, you know, somebody, an American network, Netflix, I'm sure someone will
Yeah.
stump up the cash.
Well,
What do you take
ITV
from the?
mud.
What do you take from the? We work together in ways you can't possibly understand, like alchemy. Like, they got a
Yeah.
big cauldron.
Black magic.
Well,
like-
a madman's knowledge. Like in Bloodborne, they're like popping skulls and receiving insight and doing arcane magic.
It
Yeah.
makes no sense. Like when he said that, I was just a bit like, okay, get off your house. You have good chemistry that you've built up over years. Great, and you know, one of you's the kind of like foreman and all of this.
But there
like-
is so that maybe like I don't know how the show's put together. Maybe it is like them brainstorming. Maybe they should, like they want to work together. Maybe they are mates. They probably
Yeah.
are. Like
They are, yeah.
they've done it for so long and they've like go around the world doing stuff. They'll be pretty close as friends.
Yeah.
Like people they're all really wealthy. They'll get offered a amazing deal somewhere else. Like in America, they tried to relaunch an American Top Gear. I think it failed because everyone just watched the British Top Gear.
Yeah.
I'm sure like somebody would stump up the cash, or again Netflix.
what I don't quite understand as well is because
Or maybe they don't want to do it
the
anymore.
rights to Top Gear, because I know they kind of early on they had them or something, but I think they were bought out.
Oh, I'm not
for the
sure.
show or something, but there was something
No,
to
because
do
Top
with
Gear
that.
existed before these three.
But I
It's
think as
who-
part of the
I
deal,
guess-
they might
I
have got
guess-
some of the shares
Yeah.
in the production company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd expect them to do something else. I mean, there was even talks of them going to ITV and doing a competitor. You know?
I'm fed up with Jeremy Clarkson. I think he's a terrible, terrible man. Not just for this instant, but all the incidents of him being like his questionable race things and quite a xenophobic
Ha
bigot.
gypsies. Ha. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the Stuart Lee thing. Yeah.
Gypsies.
I'm glad it's been sat, but unfortunately, people who do bad things, it doesn't matter. I mean, I saw an advert today for KSI advertising Samsung. So, it's all right for him to make like rape jokes, and Microsoft did drop him after that kind of stuff. Samsung gone, yeah, we love him. We don't care. Like, we literally don't care about some of the awful stuff that he said. We'll get him advertising our tablets.
It's
Different
tricky.
rules operate.
It's terrible, yeah.
Why are we in the middle area where we're not quite media enough
Yeah.
that we can have redemption offered to us every corner?
I know.
But yeah, I get fired if I smack someone.
Exactly.
In Poland the other day, we saw Mike Tyson's got an energy drink. It's like, who wants that? Who wants a drink endorsed by a man who beats up women regularly?
It is quite.
Not me.
It's depressing.
Not me. I'll have a Capri Sun, thank you. I'll have a Capri Sun.
A Capri Sun and a sit down. Thank you very much.
What do you call that drink?
Capri Sun.
Capri Sun.
All right, let's just take 1 second.
Okay.
Reset your mind. Luke, what do you call it?
Capri Sun.
What do you call it, Gav?
Capri Sun.
I could say Capri Sun.
I say
Capri
Capri
Sun.
Sun. Yeah.
But why do we say that when the name of the place is Capri?
Is it?
Is it
Yeah.
named after a place?
Yeah,
I didn't
Capri.
know it was named after a place.
No.
But that's the thing, like, I think everyone's... Okay, so I'm going to write another word down. Carry on for a second.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know what he's writing.
me too. And but I think you're right. He needed to go. It was overdue. And also, part of me thinks he might have just been acting out because he's been
Yeah.
getting progressively more rambunctious
Right.
as time has been going on.
Right,
Oh.
screw Clarkson, I want to see this word.
Yep.
All right.
This is the exciting part.
I don't even know if I spelled it correctly.
That might
right,
help.
Shut up. Luke, you're first.
Escalop.
Escallop.
Escalop.
That's wrong.
No, that is wrong, but
Yeah.
I know someone who says that,
Oh, right,
which
okay.
is nuts.
Yeah.
I would say... I don't even know.
I think escallop is right, but I've always said escalop.
Yeah.
I would say a scallop.
Scallop, yeah.
I say a scallop.
Escalop. I say
No, you
escalop,
don't
as
know-
in
no,
like
you don't know.
You're
jackalope.
saying, like, yeah, but it's not escalop.
No, it's not.
What, as in like a web-based meal?
Escalop.
Do you ever listen to the Adam and Joe podcast? They used to do an entire section called Eggcorns, which is things that people have been saying wrong for years they didn't realize they were saying. I used to work with a girl and I had to proofread a show Bible that she wrote for us once. Like, it was like a Bible on how to run the news show that I worked on. And she said, can you have a look at it? So I read through it. It's a really, really long document. I was like, yeah, Corinne, this is really, really good, except everywhere that it says fortnight, it must be a thing with a thing you've written forknight, like F-O-R-K instead of F-O-R-T. She was like, yeah, forknight. I was like, no. It's fortnight, isn't it? Like fortnight. She's like, forknight every 2 weeks. Yeah, it is every 2 weeks, but it's not forknight, though.
Honestly, you've got the signifier.
Yeah.
But let's focus for a second on the signifier.
Yeah.
There was one I did that with, but I can't remember what it is now.
Well, that was a bit of a damp squid.
Well, finally, in the cool things this week, what else has happened, Krupa?
Final thing is Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation trailer actually came out. They did that stupid thing of like the teaser and then the full trailer a day later.
I hate that.
Especially with that one. I kind of turned a blind eye to Jurassic World because... Jurassic World.
You like Jurassic World?
But
Because
think
I had a dream the other night that it was
music.
rubbish.
A little bit of music. That'll win it for me. Mission Impossible 5 trailer. I really like Mission Impossible films.
Yeah.
I think they're really impressive. I think they do really good stunts. And I've got a thing for Tom Cruise running.
Yeah.
I think he looks really good when he runs.
Really? I think he looks really shit when he runs.
I think he looks brilliant when he runs.
We'll just do a supercut
know,
and we'll
mate.
settle this once and for all.
We need to
know,
talk
mate.
about this bit more in the
Tom
pub.
Cruise running.
Yeah, Tom Butler, who obviously died once he left the podcast, is a huge fan of Tom Cruise running.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
What have you got?
He
what-
runs like he's never run before. And it's the first time that
That's
he's ever
why
run.
it's good. And he's running away from a freaking sandstorm and makes it. What's your problem with him?
Actually, just
It looks good. Also, he's on the side of the plane when it takes off,
Yeah.
and they did that in real life. That's well good.
Finally, that is a good trailer.
Insight,
But my
insight.
favourite trailer from this
Shut
week
up.
has been Maggie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is a lot of people have said. Like I saw a lot of Game Insights reporting that going, what are they doing?
Is he playing
Like,
Thatcher?
Leave films for us, please. Like you've picked games and just games. You just cover them. We cover everything. This is big boy shit, all right? But Maggie, it's called, and it's basically like The Last of Us, like sort of post-apocalyptic, like zombies going on. But it's Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the Joel figure.
Oh.
It looks awesome.
That's a bold
It looks
move.
so good. It's not really the Last of Us movie. He just looks like that. It looks really good though. It looks really dark. It looks like The Road, but with the man from Predator in it. So that's good.
The man from Eraser. So.
Well, those are some
Erasure?
those are some of the
Eraser.
good
The band?
things that have happened this week.
Eraser.
Oh, right.
Eraser.
Okay.
The film.
Good.
The film Eraser.
I just said how good we are covering films.
But we should also cover music, is my point.
All right. So some of the rubbish things that have happened this week.
Zayn Malik leaving One Direction is possibly my lead, but
Yeah, that sucks.
we're not talking about that apparently.
Why?
That didn't make the cut. Well,
Well, you
yeah.
could
You
have
could've
put
written
in
it down.
whatever you wanted.
I can't put anything I want in.
Of course you can.
That was the offer was there.
Right, well,
Why are you
Go on.
upset about Zayn leaving?
I think he's done the right thing for himself. I think he's done the right thing for his relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't think those boys will recover. I just don't.
I do.
He's the hottest, and he's the one with the best voice.
Well,
and I'm
one,
just
he's
saying-
not the
Well,
hottest.
he is, Gav. So let's not discuss that.
Well,
I wanted to talk about Batman for.
Okay, fine.
Hang
you
on a
talk-
minute.
well, look, he's the hottest, and he's the best singer, and I feel very very sorry for him.
whatever people think about One Direction, I personally went go-karting with them once, and they're shit at go-karting. So that's the most important thing.
And they knew it.
And they knew it.
And they knew it back then. and they know it now.
And that's probably why he's left.
Yeah.
Because I lapped Zayn Malik.
If anyone ever sees them in public, just go, you shit at go-karting. Gav Murphy says so.
Yeah.
And then run away.
If you vine me that, then we'll get married.
Good.
Batman.
That's tabled.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Knight delayed once again.
I have absolutely no
I
problem
think
with
when they
this.
announced it, they hadn't started making it. I think they announced it. It's going to be out.
Yeah.
Going to be out in October. 3 weeks later, it's like, oh, maybe we'll do it later because.
Push it back 6 months.
Yeah, we thought they were doing it. We thought Montreal were doing it. Montreal thought Rocksteady were doing it. And
Yeah.
October soon. So it got pushed back again, like 3 weeks or so.
Okay.
It's not a massive move.
No.
But I wonder, like, what 3 weeks isn't much.
Yeah. I wonder when you make the decision as well.
I don't know, because
I think
it has
it-
a big impact on lots of things. Like,
Yeah.
But then I really like what they did, and actually Project Cars has just done that as well, because they've just been delayed for like the millionth time. But they've started doing a thing where they go, we've delayed it, here's another trailer, here's some more gameplay, here's
stop making all these trailers and work on the game.
Yeah, exactly. You're wasting your time.
Yeah, and
Oh, this bit
Arkham-
looks really good for the trailer. Yeah,
Yeah.
the gameplay trailer.
It's all you've
Leave
got.
it in the game. Leave it in the game.
It's literally all you've got.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what Arkham Knight did as well, so they released another copy.
Actually, the gameplay footage that came out this week is what I saw way back in like last year when it was first announced. That's
Yeah.
what they showed behind closed doors.
Okay, yeah.
So they've had that
The
for
Arkham-
ages, and they just polished
was
it
it?
up. It was like it's like 7 minutes of footage him like flying around Gotham after speaking to Gordon, and then going to Chinatown and taking down some thugs.
Ooh, I didn't
in
see
the Batmobile. It's like 7 minutes of gameplay.
Cool.
They've polished it up a lot, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's still the same in.
Awesome. Well, I have no problem with them delaying a game. If they're going to make it better, then they make it better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
and there's mutterings as well about that Arkham Collection coming to be remastered, isn't there?
I don't care about that.
Okay.
Just get on with this. But like it's the last one in it's the last one in their Arkham trilogy, so I can sort of see.
But that's what I love now, how everything we get is the climactic conclusion to the Arkham trilogy. They're not even trying to hide that Origins was an abysmal cash grab. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It wasn't abysmal. It was a decent game.
just bug-ridden as well when it came out.
No, but it's all right. Like
Yeah.
it reviewed decently. It's not abysmal. That's really harsh.
yeah, it's not abysmal. I
it's
don't
not-
count it as one of the Arkham.
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of people regard it.
Yeah, I just think it was a cash grab.
I think the first time I do really like the Arkham trilogy, and I think Arkham Knight is going to be great. But I was kind of let down. Like I saw it like a while back as well, almost a year ago now, where they took us into a room at Rocksteady, and they were like, right, Batman's going to face his toughest thing ever. All the bad guys in Gotham are coming together to take him down over one night. And I was sitting there going, isn't that the story for all of them?
Yeah.
Like, I was going in thinking, Superman's going to be in this. Definitely Superman's going to be in it. And then they didn't
He might
introduce
be.
Superman. He might be, I guess. I don't know.
I
He's
reckon he
not
will.
gonna be.
I reckon he will be.
Well, and they'll start like the new like Superman thing.
Absolutely.
Nah.
No,
mate.
this should be a Justice League game. All part of the plan.
All part of the plan.
All part of the plan.
Another bad thing that happened this week, I got addicted to a game called Pancake. Now, we were away with our colleague from the US, Mitch, and he introduced us to this.
What is Pancake? Oh. Because I haven't heard about Pancake.
It's basically flipping a pancake with your iPhone. Like, you just download it. It's free to download. You're an arm. You've got a pan, and you flip a pancake. And how many times you can flip a pancake. It's so addictive. I was thinking about it last night when I was playing Bloodborne. It's really annoying.
That's probably why you weren't doing so well on Bloodborne.
Yeah, probably, because I've got one hand on Bloodborne, one hand flipping a pancake. Download it because it's free, but it's so infuriatingly addictive, and I don't know why. I'm so annoyed with it. Like,
What's your highest score?
27.
That's really good. I got 10
Yeah.
and then gave up.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought.
It sounds kind of like Flappy Bird, only worse.
It's not like Flappy Bird.
Well, a waste of your life.
It's so ridiculous. It reminds me of like a WarioWare game. That's why I really like it, I think, because the WarioWare games, the reason I love them is they're so ridiculous and stupid, and some of them are just like mind-numbingly banal that you can't help but love them. And I think this is why I like this. Like, if you unlock a certain every time you get a high score, for some reasons, a tattoo gun flies in and tattoos your high score on your arm.
Now I know why you like it.
Yeah.
There we go. That's
it's tattoos, isn't it? But also, you can unlock different things. Like, you can unlock different pancakes, different arms. So you've got this little arm at the moment. It looks like a little chicken leg and a blueberry pancake. But when you summon the blueberry pancake, it just chucks a load of blueberries on there, and some of them just sort of roll around the pan a little bit. Yeah, I'm addicted to it. I can't. I really.
I feel like this
happening?
is a good thing that happens.
Yeah, it is really
Not
good,
a
but I
crap thing that
can't stop
happens.
thinking about it all the time. I've played it because I had.
Have you had a dream about it? You had a Bloodborne dream.
I haven't had
pancake.
a. I haven't had
Do you just
a
want
pancake dream.
pancakes?
Yeah, I'd love a pancake. Actually, that'd be really good. Thank you. The other thing as well, both of us have just read John Ronson's book and are now terrified of being publicly shamed.
What's John Ronson's book about?
It's called "So You've Been Publicly Shamed."
Oh.
And it's basically about, something that happens now in the time of Twitter and things like that, where something will happen and there'll be a big Twitter storm about it, where a lot of people will sort of get like a mob mentality and set upon someone.
Ooh.
And it's about the sort of repercussions of that.
Even if the original offending tweet is misjudged, innocuous, taken out of context, and random, these good people who maybe have 20 followers, 100 followers, and they just become vilified, and it ruins their entire life because they get sacked, they can't get hired because
That's right.
they'll be the first thing on Google.
It's really
if you
sad,
search your name, it ruin your life.
It's
Ruin your
really
life.
sad. It also makes you think about every tweet
Everything
you've
you
ever
do,
done.
you go, how will that be taken?
Yeah. I've gone back and deleted maybe about 200, 300 tweets that I've put out. It's
I do,
horrible.
Well, every now and then I do tweet something. I'm like, no, probably not that funny or something, and delete it. And I'm just like, we're not famous enough for people to screen grab our tweets or anything.
But this is the point, though.
But it's not none of these people are famous being shamed. These are people who've been extremely, extremely unfortunate.
And they
This
just said
thing could
something
happen.
stupid.
This is what a lot of this is just like capricious.
Yeah.
It could just be someone else on another day. If somebody, the person who retweets it, if that person has maybe 10,000 followers and they have a few other influential people, then it snowballs in a way that can never be foreseen.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, you just, you don't know. And it's like some famous ones in there that people probably
Justine
have read
Sacco
about.
is like a really famous one. There's one of the ones that I knew.
Yeah.
of
I
and
followed
seen
that at the
happen.
time.
Who was she?
So she tweeted saying, "Just off South Africa, hope I don't get AIDS.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I'm white."
Oh, yes, I
Which is
remember
just a rubbish joke.
It's a rubbish joke.
Yeah.
It shows a lack of. Oh no, I actually think it is a joke. Like she's talking about white privilege
Yeah.
and how she's playing a stupid American. She's playing upon that character, going, "I'm a stupid American. I only think you can get AIDS if you're black." But obviously, a lot of
sounds
people
racist.
a lot of people just don't see the crap irony in that
Yeah.
and what she's going for, and go, "I can't believe this woman. How stupid is this
Exactly,
stupid American?"
yeah.
So these other people who see
the
all
stupid
Americans
ones.
are stupid,
Yeah.
have raised this level of an absolute idiot who deserved to be mocked. So when she was on the flight, when she landed on
she
the
tweeted
other
Tweeting for getting on the flight.
people were like, "Oh my God, what is she gonna like?"
It's a 12-hour flight,
3
yeah.
hours until
Yeah.
she gets out on the other end, and her life ruined.
Yeah.
she was fired. Ruined.
But it's all about that. It's a really, really interesting book. It's done in quite a funny way. It's
It's
very
out now,
amusing
yeah.
through it.
It's
Yeah.
out
But yeah, I'm terrified.
And then the other crap bit of news this week, I guess, was the Kojima and Konami tiff that continues to continue,
Yeah.
I guess, which makes me a bit sad.
What's
Why can't-
actually happening?
So originally, obviously, they took his name off everything. All the branding material for Metal Gear Solid 5 and all of this, and they just changed it to a Konami game. And then Kojima Productions was rebranded Konami Studio Los Angeles West or something like that.
Okay.
And then, little by little, we've heard mutterings about them kind of, they've issued a statement being like, please be excited for the next installment. We're going to see this through and all this. They haven't officially announced that he is parting ways with Konami, but they are they have posted job listings in which they are looking for new staff to start up a new series within Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And then finally, yesterday, I believe, or today, Kojima Station was meant to air, and they've cancelled it, and there's no news about when it will return.
I like Kojima Station.
Yeah. So
it's sad. I think a lot of people have said it's going to be good to see what he does without the constraints of a big studio. I actually think that's a bad thing. I think
you need someone kind of holding the purse strings and kind of
not purse strings, but sort of just keeping people in check, schedule. I guess. Well, I mean, not even in check, but I don't know. I can't I think there's something to be said for working within certain constraints.
I know publishers. There are many negatives, but at the same time, they do kind of provide you with a framework where there's a level of expectation.
Yeah, I always when some of this come out, I always think. Remember Arrested Development? Arrested Development, when he was working with the studio very, very closely, seasons 1, 2, and 3 are really, really good. When they were allowed to go off and do their own thing and did the Netflix show, it was utter shite.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it because I don't want to ruin that for me.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Maybe Kojima should sit down, take a look at Arrested Development season 4.
Well, segueing into the feedback of Andrew Monaghan, because he said, since the last time I emailed into the podcast and Alex more or less shooting me down by suggesting this would be Kojima's last Metal Gear game, given everything going on with Konami basically trying to erase Kojima out of existence and more or less taking control of the franchise from him, is it a bad sign of Konami doing with the Metal Gear series what Capcom is doing with Resident Evil? Your fans are behind you, Kojima, whatever happens over the coming months and years, and Konami, please don't squander 30 years of an incredible legacy.
Yeah. I don't think they have the ability to be able to go off and do something with... They can't do a Metal Gear without Kojima.
Well, they can.
Well, they can.
Really?
Yeah. They did Rising, didn't they?
You can do Spider-Man without Stan Lee. I feel like there's an issue here where...
But Rising, for me, that could be any game. It doesn't have to be a Metal Gear game.
But it's within that. It's true. But that shows how that universe can be adapted by other people, and they bring something of what they're known for into that world to make it slightly different. And I feel like video games have been around for like 35, 40 years. They still have some of the teething problems you see in other industries. So, for instance, comic books, I think that's a good one. Miyamoto, Kojima grew up in companies, made games, have some sense of ownership, but probably not total ownership of those characters because that's the deal they were on back then. We create something, you own it. It's not mine, even though I'm associated with it. And obviously, it's going to result in some kind of situations like this. Thankfully, people like Miyamoto and Numa, the Nintendo men for life, because that's part of Japanese work culture.
Yeah.
This stuff happens more infrequently in Japan, where people leave and stuff. But ultimately, these creations that make a lot of money are going to be owned by the publishers. But we're transitioning to a point where you're going to have Kojima's a huge name. He could go somewhere else, command big budgets from another publisher because he is like a Steven Spielberg of video games, and I'm sure he could do that. I just don't want him to go off and make the film that he sometimes flirted with.
I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. He's going to go off and make a film, and it's going to be awful.
Don't know if he will, with a Keen soundtrack.
Disgusting.
Gosh.
I've got an email from Cal Barrett, who's a long-time listener, first-time emailer. On the Facebook group, we were having a discussion about why Chris thinks he brought the word banter back into the mainstream. None of us know the full story of why Tilly believes this, and even fewer actually believe him. Can you discuss the reasoning behind such a bold claim? Well, he's not here, and I don't know the story. And I don't believe what everybody's saying.
So when Chris was at university, the University of York in whenever he was.
The heydays of time.
In the heydays of time.
70s.
In the 70s.
He had an afro.
He had massive sideburns. And he went up to one of his friends and he went groovy. And he segued into... No, so what would that have been? I would early 2000s, mid-2000s, something like that?
No, 90s.
90s got to be, isn't it?
No.
He was wearing a bucket hat listening
Chris
to Oasis.
Is born in 78. So he would have been 20 years on that 98. He would have been late 90s.
I think we're focusing on the wrong part of the story.
Anyway,
so mid to late 90s, Chris is at university.
Okay.
How old are we saying Chris is?
He's 37, 36, 37.
Anyway,
I know that for a fact.
We are focusing on the wrong part of the story.
Yes.
Anyway, he was at university and it was very anticlimactic. Literally, him and his friends started saying the word banter. Yeah. He said banter in a pub context and it spread like wildfire. and soon it was cropping up everywhere. And the other thing that Chris was the originator of was group of men embracing each other and singing Robbie Williams' Angels.
Yes, that is another claim that he has made.
That's utter shite. Next bit of feedback from... Oh, this is the same guy, actually. I meant to read this out when I was talking about X-Files, but I forgot. So, I'm happy to hear the news of the X-Files return. I'm guessing you are too. Well, yeah, we talked about it. With only 6 episodes, do you think they should all be Monster of the Week? Yep. Or is there some room for the long-running mythology episodes in which we were told the aliens were finally going to invade in 2012? I'm hoping for mainly Monster of the Week, but I don't want to forget about the conspiracy sent along...
I think it has to be Monsters of the Week or some self-contained conspiracy, because
series thing, yeah.
Who the hell would watch that now and know about it? Like, you would not attract any new audience at all.
I've also got another one from Royal Funkness, Jonathan Gibbons. What do we think Rockstar are now working on? Do you think we can expect a Red Dead sequel in spring next year, or maybe even a new IP? Yep, they're working on Red Dead sequel, I reckon. Well, I hope they are.
I think most likely Red Dead sequel.
But if they weren't.
They have muttered that they wouldn't mind revisiting Bully at some stage.
Really?
Well, one of the houses said in an interview, he was like, "Oh, I quite like Bully."
I don't know anything for certain, but they are, they will be definitely working on Red Dead 2. That game was too successful for there not to be another one on next-gen consoles. But that said, GTA 5 and GTA, that platform has a hell of a lot. Well, it's not even live. They've not released any, like Ballad of Gay Tony. They've not released any story DLC, because I think they need to get heists out there, because that was the promise.
Yeah.
There could be like spin-offs. There could be like, there's loads of alien stuff in GTA 5. Could be an Undead Nightmare style take. Fun. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like almost like a standalone. You can buy it. I feel like this could be like that kind of thing. They do a smaller kind of like B-movie take on it, like Wolfenstein's doing with Old Blood.
Yeah.
And then GTA Online will grow. And there'll be more areas added to that map, or you'll be able to get to the airport, get on a plane, and you can like wake up in Vice City.
Yeah, or fly back in time to the Wild West.
Or you park your time machine.
Yeah,
in the past.
Yeah,
and then it's there in the future. That's the mechanic.
Let's do it.
So Adam Bond has emailed in saying, with all the news coming out about the upcoming Battlefront release, Star Wars fanboys like myself can't help but be excited. I was wondering whether or not we'll see some new Star Wars franchises come to light. Do you guys think we will see a few different Star Wars games coming out in the next few years?
Yeah, probably.
Obviously.
Well,
I think so.
I mean, they sort of done it as they done away. What are you doing?
Are you not in the room?
Are you drawing Simpsons?
I'm listening. You're on your phone all the time.
Well,
I'm just doodling.
Lads, please.
I'm doodling.
What are you doing?
I'm listening. I'm listening to everything you're saying. Are there additional Star Wars franchises coming out? Yes, there are. No, like, look at Disney's strategy. They're ramping up Star Wars in everything. Sticker books, young adult, comic books, movies, spin-off movies, TV shows. There will definitely be a plethora of games. They signed an exclusive contract with EA. Battlefront's obviously the headliner, but there'll be additional stuff. Absolutely.
Also very exciting, in a Kingdom Hearts mobile game that was cancelled, Star Wars characters were in that. So I think we are finally going to have the Kingdom Hearts. In Kingdom Hearts 3, Star Wars is there.
Yeah, Star Wars will be in...
It's happening.
Star Wars will be in Disney Infinity soon as well, I think. Once they do that, boom.
He said that. They did that with Marvel, and it was a rubbish game. It wasn't a rubbish game. Like
cool
sets,
things though.
The Guardians of the Galaxy set's pretty good.
Yeah.
But the
Hulk.
Yeah, but then you can buy Hulks. Toys. You can buy that anyway.
I suppose.
Buy that anyway.
I suppose. Right, what's yours?
What's yours? This is from Gabriel Ward, which is a cool name. Duck Hunt. Due to the mass influx of shared universe model within Hollywood, DC, Marvel, and even Ghostbusters is now a shared universe. Which franchises...
No, it isn't. We're not getting on board with the Ghostbusters shared universe.
But it is happening. Even if we're not getting on board with it, it still exists.
Nah. That's a lie.
Okay, I feel like we're segueing into philosophy. If I deny the existence of something, does it cease to be?
Yeah.
This week on the IGN UK podcast, Ontology. Which franchises, past, present, and future, do you feel would serve well to a shared universe model?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
There's that Pixar theory, isn't there?
There is an all grand unifying theory of Pixar.
Which I quite like. I can't. It's really convoluted, but it basically theorizes that they all take place in the same universe over a span of time.
Yeah.
And there's also that Frozen cameo at the end of Frozen with. At the end of Frozen, there's the cameo of the two
Tangled.
from Tangled. Yes,
Yes.
So that's also a thing.
Yeah, I feel like
Disney
Disney.
made it,
Disney.
yeah.
I feel like it is without. I think it's kind of implicit or like tacit. Like it's kind of there, perhaps with some of them, because there's also the aerial theory with Frozen
with
as
the
well.
with the cam. Yeah,
But what else would be really good for it?
Well, there's a Quentin Tarantino thing. That's
They
always been
do,
a big
yeah,
theory.
actually too.
Like,
yes.
but I don't know. I'm trying to think like what would be really, really good. I quite like in the Sony games, like in what's it called? The Order. You pick up a little sack boy.
Yeah.
That's quite fun.
Do you like that? I hate that.
Really?
Yeah, it completely. I think it just destroys
It
the
does- it does
reality.
take you out
Like,
of it a little bit,
what
yeah.
the hell is this?
Yeah.
It depends on the cameo though. I guess.
That's not in From Software. You're not going to go around in like
Yeah.
this massive Sackboy and it boss. Maybe could
Well,
be.
I mean, we talked about
You
it
do
earlier.
wonder though if there would be any nods to. There must be nods to Dark Souls and stuff in there.
I don't know because
Or is it-
I feel like there might be like a motif which is part of the studio,
Yeah.
perhaps,
Uh-huh.
because like they were pretty good. The Demon Souls and Dark Souls, there is a recurring character in a lot of From games called Patches, but the worlds are different. Like again, I feel like there might be little elements. Like for instance, there's a priest you come across quite early in the game. He says the word Umbasa,
Yeah.
which is actually a word that features quite prominently in Demon Souls,
Yeah.
and it means Amen, kind
Okay.
of. In,
Yeah.
I feel like more might be stuff like that. I think, but also I think it's part of the fun. I think people will debate it for months
Yeah.
and months to come. Like, what are the connections?
I've mentioned this before as well. There's a fantasy author called Brandon Sanderson, who I really like and think is great. He writes lots of different kind of collections, but they're all set in this one wider universe called the Cosmere. And there's different rules, there's lots of different stuff happening in there and all this, but there's one character who appears in them all,
Right.
and sometimes he's actually introduced and he has speaking lines and he's called Hoyd.
Yeah.
And other times he's literally described because he wears all black, and so it'll be a throwaway line like a character will be walking into a dinner party. It's like there were people gathered, one man looking slightly out of place, all in black with a
Yeah.
long beard, and so he's going to finish off all these separate kind of threads, and then his final kind of stories are going to be the stories of this guy, where he
Right.
came from, how he moves through them all, because obviously his job is to kind of protect and keep the Cosmere as a whole together.
Yeah.
And so that is actually possibly the best example I've seen of it, and that's brilliant.
I like the idea of like maybe like Freddy and Jason, that they are in the same universe now.
Yeah.
That'd be
Horror.
quite good.
I actually
Like
think the
Michael
one-
bring Michael Myers into it as well
Yeah.
and have like surely that.
Well,
that'd be
I
good.
think not to judge too soon, because I didn't think the first one is, if they want it to be, the Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea. I don't know what the execution is going to be like. I think when they did Dracula Untold, I think that was in production anyway.
Yeah.
And they thought, let's hedge our bets. Let's maybe if this is good and people like it, it can be part of it.
Such a
If
mess,
not,
that is.
it is a real mess, and I feel like something cool could have been there.
You've
like,
gotta commit to
for
it.
instance, what was a great concept for a film, terrible execution, was Van Helsing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea, having
Yeah.
a monster hunter and like having this, you could like
That's
draw
how you tie
so
it
many
together, yeah.
Universal properties.
Yeah.
So you own the rights to all those kind of monster makeups, even though they don't own the rights to the monsters, they own the rights to the iconic makeups
Yeah.
and the treatments of them. So that would have been cool. But the thing when I was a kid that blew my mind was Stephen King novels. When I used to
Right, okay.
read them, and they all like interconnect.
Really?
There's recurring characters. It's all like, Stephen King mythology. Like a lot of them take place in Maine, Derry,
Yeah.
recurring cities, but there are like cameos that he's structured throughout all of them.
Right.
Where like one character will appear in
I haven't
it,
read enough
and,
Stephen King to know that,
and
yeah.
then obviously the Dark Tower series, which is almost like a meta account of all his mythology,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
I'd really like to see. It's not going to happen because both of them are ended now. But it'd have been good to see The Office and Parks and Rec, because like it's pretty much the same production companies making like production on them. But having those two,
Well, the two
interconnect.
offices were
The
shared
two offices,
universe.
they are shared
Because
universe.
there's that thing where Ricky Gervais appears, isn't it?
He also applies for Michael's job as well via like a little video interview, which is really, really good.
So that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Good question.
Okay, Kyle. Oh, sorry, I lost what I was doing now because I was trying to look for his name. Kyle Marsden.
There at the bottom.
Yeah,
There at the bottom.
It's highlighted.
Pink highlighter.
Dude, it's highlighted.
Jesus Christ.
I listened to last week's discussion of the Apple Watch and what you thought of it. And whilst you made some good points, you, Alex mainly, were all for given reasons as to why you don't want an Apple Watch, but didn't really say much as to what features you'd like to see would make it worth your time owning a smartwatch. Pun
Worth your
intended.
time.
See, there you go.
I'd like to know what you guys like to see on the device to make it worthwhile of a purchase, as I'm currently debating on whether to get one or not.
Yeah, should we send it like smart watches in general?
Well,
What would
to be honest, I
yeah.
think the way it looks like something I don't want on my wrist. I want something like the watches that I wear. Like they look quite classic and they look.
I mean,
like normal watches.
One of the big reasons for getting a watch, especially a Rolex and stuff like that, is they appreciate in time. It's an investment. You put money into it. If you sell it or pass it down or whatever, later in life, it is going to be worth more than you originally paid for it. The reason I have against like smartwatches is that's not going to happen.
No,
like especially at the rate,
That's a good point.
especially at the rate that people like Apple innovate. It's got out of date in a year and a half.
But this is the thing.
So that's why I'm against smartwatches as a personal.
Yeah.
But the question, what would you like
What
on it
features?
that would make it cool for you or
The only-
appealing? Because it's almost changing the paradigm. We perfected what it was meant to do in terms of like as a piece of mechanical technology. But people have gone back to basically just the item in general and gone, this is something a lot of people carry on you. Let's inject it with technology and open it up as a device rather than it's called a watch, you wear it like a watch.
Yeah.
So I can see
it's a multifunctional thing, just like your phone is making phone calls is just one thing. You've got a portable computer.
I never make phone calls
so
on my
it's
phone,
not really a phone. We call it a phone, but
I mean, I can see uses for it. For example, like diabetics can use it to monitor their blood sugar levels through the sweat.
Yeah, that's not something you want, though.
No. But I can see why. But I can see why it would be that would make it useful, or the ability to an app or something that you can link up to your kettle and press it so it boils
that
the
would
thing without.
definitely be a thing.
I'm in.
And there you go. That's the
I think
kind
I
of
said that
stuff that
last
I go
week
for.
is home automation.
Yeah.
Recently,
okay.
I've got a Sonos system in my house and also got
very
like a Philips Hue light.
Right.
And I can control it on my phone, but it'd be, I think, a bit more convenient using your watch.
Yeah, I can't believe you can't do that because you can control. There's an app to control. Your, like,
you would be
central
able,
heating
to
and
do,
stuff.
but I'm just saying that's like I'm sure that those apps have already been designed for it.
I
But that's
think-
more useful, I think.
Full level Power Rangers communicator. I want to be able to talk to people into it and actually kind of teleport. Boom, do that and I'm there.
Would you want to talk?
Zordon, what's going on,
Will you be
Alpha?
able to talk into
Yeah.
your headphones that you're wearing?
Nah.
You can make the call like
Yeah,
that.
but
and
you
then
look
it'll-
like a badass. You look like a bouncer. All right.
But you could do that. You could. Nobody's going to stop you doing that. You could do that. You could put the microphone up your. If you want
For me, fitness stuff, like it needs to have more, because I wore a Nike Fuel Band Plus when I was trying to lose weight a few years back, and like it's good, but there's not enough features on. The reason I stopped using
this
it.
definitely has that because it can take your heartbeat.
Oh, really? Okay.
Accurately, yeah.
Well, that's really good then, because I did a lot of like cycling and weights and stuff like that, and it doesn't. The Nike Fuel Band Plus didn't really.
It doesn't
do
register
that.
that.
It's basically like a
motility.
speedometer, like. And
no, this has like
whereas-
a quite
Does the
detailed
Fitbit
pulse,
do that?
mate.
Really.
I don't know.
I think
much
Fitbit
about-
is a little bit better. I think.
Okay.
but
Because I was looking into that and then I was just like, I don't care.
there's actually a Microsoft one coming out soon that looks really, really good. So Microsoft, if you're listening, send me one because I don't want to be fat no more.
Good reason as any.
And then if they don't send it, Microsoft made me fat.
Microsoft made me fat. That's a lawsuit. Okay, Ross Miller wrote in and said, my question to you all is if you had to take a holiday to any game fictional world for a couple of weeks, where would it be and what would you do whilst visiting?
Well, I mean, are we trying to? Are you saying that you want to actually be in the world and you want to actually do the cool stuff?
When
that's
you
going
don't
on
really want to
there?
go to The Last of Us, the like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe like when he's in Tibet in Uncharted. That looks really nice.
Yeah.
But
that's
that's going on a
But
whole
that's just
Tibet.
Tibet. I could do that tomorrow.
Cooler World. Remember that when you're the little ball thing, like moving around in like these crazy. It was on PS1. You're basically like a beach ball walking around these like crazy tropical world. That'd be really good.
I'd like to go to Chupa Chup World,
Yeah?
Azul, and just lick giant lollipops. But that's just me,
That's
innit? That's
just me.
Does he say
go
which
to
one he
Rook
wants to do?
Island, go to Rook Island, take loads of drugs, and get off with locals.
Yeah.
Does he say which one he wants to do?
No, he doesn't. Ross.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But what's that bit he says
met
at the end?
Ross.
At the end, he says, and a special shout out for the newest member of the Facebook group, Kyle Barrett, who never writes in.
Yeah,
Aww.
but you can join the Duck Hunt podcast Facebook group by going search for IGN UK podcast. Can't believe they got there before us. And Ross, we met Ross in Glasgow. He's
Did we?
a very nice chap.
Awesome. That's good. You're next.
I am indeed. This is from Lee Franks. He says, "Hi guys, I wrote in last week regards to my 24-hour marathon for special effect. I don't think we gave out the charity page. I don't know if you sent it, but I don't know. www.justgiving.com/Lee Franks 22. So,
When is he doing it? He's done it.
You can find that on last week's podcast.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot more info.
I'm not going to say that. Jordan Hackney says Duck Hunt, and also in brackets, what is that about? I don't think anyone could be told what Duck Hunt is. You just have to know.
It's a state of mind, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Last week, the discussion came up about story-driven games, and it was mentioned that someone around IGN may have played The Last of Us on an easier setting. I did that to enhance their enjoyment of the story. I think when playing a game, the most important aspect is the gameplay mechanics. I don't. How enjoyable they are, and trying to overcome the challenge provided in order to succeed. A story is only there to supplement that base idea, that's wrong, and can give importance or tension to it. But I really dislike the idea of gaming existing to essentially provide a story in which the player is just a passenger. To me, that seems like the point of a film. Now, you're not just a passenger, and playing Last of Us on easy isn't you just sitting there and pressing like one button. You still have to actually do things, and you have to work things out, and there's still puzzle elements. It just makes the combat is, if you're there for the combat, you can put that up, and you can make it a bit harder. It doesn't make what you actually have to do to progress any easier. It's just the fact that there'd be less enemies and they might not be as hard.
For me, a classic example of that is point and click games in which, the gameplay is really good, but it's the story as well, which is equally strong. If you're just kind of randomly looking around a room to find things to like click on, that's not exciting. You have to, it's a perfect marriage of the two. I totally disagree that story is just there to supplement gameplay.
I think... Well, the thing is, like, gaming is a very diverse church now, and I feel like it can accommodate all these things. That we have games that are pure game. We talk about that where a story is incidental, like Mario. It's pure game.
What's the story of Tetris?
Here are mechanics. You master them, you get better. Other end of the spectrum, there are games who want to tell you a story. And that's with the interest of the people making them. And gameplay is an interactive storytelling experience. I think some of this this kind of disagreement or tension comes from the fact that the name of the medium is game. Whereas literature means writing.
Exactly.
We don't call it. It's like saying literature if that was called story.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
The fact that we call them games, I think that goes, there's no game in it.
This thing though, like his point is mad because he says, I think The Last of Us is a great story told within the framework of a decent enough game. Is it a decent enough game? Like the actual game bits of Last of Us are not that good, really. I don't think. I think the crafting elements, when they try, the worst bits about The Last of Us is when they try and make it into a game. They go, you've got to craft this. Like that's utter bollocks. And he says, Metal Gear Solid 4 was a game that I enjoyed a great deal, but to be honest, I didn't have a clue what was going on by the end, story-wise. How are you having a good time in a Metal Gear game if you're not getting into the story?
I don't know. But still, like, for instance, in Ground Zeroes, like, even if you come to that blank, you can enjoy breaking into that base and without knowing who all these characters are, per se.
I don't think you can do that on Metal Gear Solid 4. It's such a bit... One of the cutscenes is like 55 minutes long. What's he doing for that? Is he just going off?
I know what I do.
What? Anyway, no, so I think for me personally, I play games for the story and they have to be as good as each other.
But Mario then? What did you play Mario for it?
That's different, I think, because it's Mario. But there's no other games that are like that, I don't think.
Hotline Miami? Are you not doing that primarily for the mechanics?
I play Hotline Miami for the story and the atmosphere and stuff that it does.
Pancake. Why are you playing Pancake?
I have no. That's why I'm so annoyed.
I just feel like it's not one or the other. It's all these like different types. I feel like it because we call them games. If there's story led, you go, that's not a game. If you said like it's a wanky way of saying it, and it would never catch on. But if they were called more like digital experiences, you wouldn't. It would be very hard to call out the story led games for being story led.
But surely that then it comes down to genre, right? As well, because like a puzzle game. Maybe won't have a story, but
But then one of my favorite ever puzzles game is Catherine, which has an amazing story to it because and that splits off the story and the actual puzzle elements really, really well. I think. So Jordan, this is a very interesting question. I don't agree with a lot of what you said, but then you put it across in a really good way. So
well, everyone's happy.
That's the world, isn't it?
Is this the last one that I've got?
Yes. It is, yeah.
I don't know the name. Doesn't say the name. Trevinod. It's probably not his name. Okay. So he was saying, thanks for that. Now my finger is full of gunk. Really smart trick to get everyone to clean their ears. I believe it's because you taught Rory that if you put your finger in your ear and wiggle it around, it sounds like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying it, So there you go. Put your finger in your ear, wiggle it around, sounds like Pac-Man.
And there you go.
And on that note, thank you very much for listening or watching IGN UK podcast number 273.
Email us anytime, IGN_UK feedback@IGN.com.
Do it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Slick.